Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. How are we all doing today? I hope you're all well. I feel like she's in mourning. I may be. But don't worry, we're going to talk about it. What a beautiful tragedy. Thank you, Levi. But let's go back to the beginning and say hello to everyone who's here first before we get into it. Okay, let me scroll back. Okay, first of all, the music choice as well. Oh my god. Okay, congrats on getting first to stream Phoenix. And our early birds today are Phoenix and Ellie, Gabby, Lena, and Levi. Congrats on getting those early bird slots in our daily buttons today. We have Phoenix, Gabby, Ellie, Lena, Gabby with the 5-stream streak, Levi with the daily button, Levi with the resub at tier 1 for 10 months. Thank you so much. And Kermit with the daily button, Purple Rain, Meg, Possum with a 7-stream streak, Sam with the daily button, Aces with the daily button, and Lena with the 3-stream streak. Thank you so much for streaking up in here. And thank you so much, Levi, for the resub for 10 whole months. That is absolutely crazy. I can't believe we're only 2 months away from a year together. But welcome. I have In the Arms of the Angels queued up. That's what the music is currently. Today, if you didn't see on my socials, we are hosting sort of a funeral for The Sims 4. It's not going to be all doom and gloom, I promise. This is very tongue-in-cheek, so don't fret. But I'll get into it. Oh my gosh, Sam with a 25-stream streak. But hello, everybody. How are we all doing? Can I just ask how everyone's morning is going? So far, so good. Also, Gabby with the 42% spicy and 23% chaos. Low. She is in mourning. I am in mourning. I have tears in my eyeballs. I have my black mourning dress, my pearls. I did my hair all, I put my hair in rollers. We dressed up for the occasion. I even have my plum bob. So we're here, we're queer, we're ready to be in fear of what's to come next. You love the one hand with the nails thing going on. Yeah, that's classic for me. If you hadn't ever noticed, I actually have my nails emote shows that I only have one hand ever done. One is short and one is long. You've been awake for 30 minutes. I don't know how my morning is yet, but I have tea. Oh, I'm glad you have tea. I had my coffee, I had my breakfast, and I'm sat. The agenda for today, we're going to be doing a little bit of a funeral, aka I want to do a PowerPoint presentation for you all on what I'm calling the downfall of the Sims franchise, based on some news that came. Aces, thank you so much for the 10 biddies. You missed the chapter, what happened with EA. Gabby, don't worry. If you're going to be here for the next half an hour, I have a presentation. I have a PowerPoint presentation to talk about everything that's going on with EA, all the news about the marketplace, everything. So don't worry, you're going to get all caught up. Everyone's going to have a full inside scoop. I did my research. I've been working on it forever. I've been working on it since Wednesday, and I have a beautiful PowerPoint to get through. Also, welcome back from the ads. Thank you for sitting through those. I really do appreciate it. If you're just coming in for the first time and you don't know what's going on, I'm in mourning, but it's a bit of a tee-hee ha-ha, okay? So don't panic. It's fine. Also, before anyone panics, I am still going to be playing The Sims 4. So just don't worry about it, okay? But we are going to be doing a full-on deep dive into the downfall of the Sims franchise, based on EA's decisions recently. So anyways, let's move into the presentation. Are we ready? Are we excited? Are we sat? Because guess what? I am. I'm sat and ready to go. And we have the Sims 2 music to keep us company here. I did come prepared. You're sat and ready. I'm so hyped, you guys. I'm so hyped. It's going to be fun. It's going to be cool, I think. I have lots of notes. I have a reference page, so don't worry. I have come with references prepared. So, here we go. And I'm saying this to YouTube as well, because I'm obviously going to upload this to YouTube. Welcome to my presentation entitled The Downfall of the Sims Franchise, a 26-year retrospective, presented by yours truly, Snappy Streams. Now, you may be wondering to yourself, what are my credentials to talk about this? Who am I? Who are you? Who is this lady on your screen right now? My name is Sarah. You can also call me Snappy, and I love this franchise. I am a simmer. As you can see, I have a plumb bob on right now. I love this franchise dearly, and I am in fact older than it, contrary to popular belief. My sister and I have been playing The Sims since The Sims 2. So my sister had The Sims 2 for PC, and we played that together. And then, in fact, I would more like steal her game and play it while on my family's computer. Aces with the 7-stream streak, thank you so much. And my sister and I also played The Sims 3 when it came out on the Wii as well as via PC. I took a bit of a hiatus until 2019. Oh my gosh, no worries at all, Sam. Enjoy your sleep. I rediscovered The Sims 4 in 2019. I came back full force and have been playing it ever since. I have well over 1,000 hours in the game, and I love the game very dearly. Now, I started my Twitch specifically to stream The Sims 4 in 2024. I also rediscovered The Sims Medieval, as well as the original Sims game, and some of the other spin-offs as well, and I've really enjoyed them. So the entire franchise has my whole heart. Pluto, welcome on in. Thank you for your daily button as well. I also have a master's degree, and while you may not think that that has much credence, a master's degree allows me to think critically about things, it allows me to do research effectively, and it allows me to put together presentations like this that hopefully you can trust will be academically rigorous. So that's the tea. So I want to go through the agenda for today before we hop into it, but first I want to direct your attention to my Shayla, the one and only Will Wright, aka the creator of The Sims franchise. I'm so sorry, Bestie. We killed your daughter. We killed your baby. I don't know what EA has done, but Will Wright, we love you. And back in the 90s, Will Wright and Maxis created something called SimCity, which is the predecessor to the Sims franchise. I'm not going to talk about SimCity, but Will Wright is the one that invented The Sims, and I love him very dearly. I miss him every day. We'll get into it. So the agenda. First of all, we're going to start with a brief history of the Sims franchise, just a brief one. Then we're going to get into something I like to call the fortnightification of The Sims 4, including login events, game events, and exclusive events. Third, we're going to talk about the timeline of demise, including kits and creator kits, the EA buyout, SpongeBob Gate, if you know, you know, and the changing content of The Sims 4, and finally, the cost of The Sims 4. Fourth, we're going to talk about the nail in the coffin, which is the most recent news about the marketplace. Then we're going to get into some historical info around the marketplace and similar things, controversy surrounding this, community feedback, and end off with the future. What is the future of the Sims franchise? What is the future of my content? And what is the future for life simulators in general? Okay, are we ready, kids? Aye, aye, Captain. I can't hear you. Let's get into it. Foreshadowing. Okay, the history of The Sims. Welcome in. Firstly, we start off in the year 2000 with the advent of The Sims. This is the first ever life simulator dollhouse style game that's ever existed. And as you can see in the little below The Sims logo, it says the people simulator from the creator of SimCity. So this is where Will Wright comes in and births his baby in 2000. This was the first time we ever had a game where you could actually play as little people, just living their daily lives. It was a two-dimensional game, if you're not aware. It was really low poly, really like the UI was so silly and cheesy, and the font was literally Comic Sans. And we love her. We love The Sims. This exploded on the market. Everyone loved The Sims. It was one of the best-selling games of 2000, if not the best-selling game of 2000. Now, in 2002, Maxis came out with The Sims Online. The Sims Online was, by the way, the things that are down below and up above, those are not the mainline franchise, but the spin-offs. So that's why they're down there. So The Sims Online was actually the first time you were able to play with other players instead of it being a single-player game. A lot of people think that the first time you could play like an online version might be in Project Renee, which is upcoming in the future, or things like The Sims Mobile. But The Sims Online actually came out in 2002. And it was pretty popular. It did flop a little bit and die, but there is still an emulator for it. You can go to a website and play The Sims online. In 2003, we got The Sims Busting Out, and in 2004, we got The Urbz Sims in the City. These are more quest-based games and less like the original premise of The Sims. And The Sims Busting Out was for the PSP, if I'm remembering correctly. In 2004 came The Sims 2. Now, The Sims 2 was a major development in the Sims franchise. And this is because it took a two-dimensional game into 3D. The Sims 2, the leap from The Sims 1 to The Sims 2 was huge in terms of the gameplay, the mechanics, the UI, the customizability of The Sims. It went from having predetermined Sims that you could choose from to actually being able to customize the skin tone, the body size, gender, hair, clothing separate from the body, everything. Now, with that being said, The Sims 2 was very problematic for a couple of reasons. I mean, obviously, having only 2 body types was a bit of a flop. And it was built on the same engine, I know. Isn't that interesting, Lena? So it was a huge advancement in the life simulator category as well. And The Sims 2, I have a soft spot for. It's one of my favorite games of the Sims mainline franchise. I actually like it more than The Sims 3, which we'll get into kind of why. But The Sims 2 had really in-depth lore, and it had really in-depth, oh my gosh, no worries at all, Gabby, no worries at all. But it had lore, it had a storyline, and it had a lot of heart, and people really, really loved The Sims 2. Now, in 2007, there was 3 releases. We have The Sims Life Stories, The Sims Pet Stories, and arguably the most influential, My Sims. My Sims was like a chibi version of the Sims franchise. It was, again, kind of quest-based, little... How do you explain this in My Sims? I've played it on this channel. You can check out that VOD if you want to. But My Sims is basically like a little bit like Animal Crossing, something like that. Small quests, chibi kind of style, 3-dimensional game again. And it was on the Wii. And it also blew up. Then we have The Sims Castaway Stories. Streaking in the chat, Pluto, slay. So that was another quest-based spin-off, which was for the PS2, I want to say. Not as popular as the main line, of course, but there you go. Then we have The Sims 3. So The Sims 3, and as you're noticing here, you might notice a little trend. 2000 to 2004, 4 years. 2004 to 2009, 5 years. And then The Sims 3 comes out, 5 years after The Sims 2. The Sims 3 also came with a lot of new advancements to the mainline franchise. Fireburby, thank you so much for sewing your daily button. They had a lot more customization in The Sims 3. And by a lot more, I mean like an insane amount more, because it came with Create a Style. So Create a Style meant that you could change the color and the pattern with an eyedropper tool for every item in the game. Ooh, yes, Kermit. I love that. My Sims takes inspiration from series such as Animal Crossing and other more child-friendly games to create a series fit for introducing The Sims to a younger audience. Yes, it was intended for a younger audience. Because the early Sims games were raunchy. Let's be so for real. They had, like, stripper poles and cages and, like, all sorts of things. But yes, The Sims 3 had Create a Style, which was overwhelming to some, but exciting advancement in technology. So although it did bog down the game, it was open world, and it had... It just had a lot of customization. So people were really excited. It also expanded on their earlier lore. So The Sims 1, 2, and 3 are also on a timeline. And they all share the exact same universe, the same lore, which is really cool. In 2009, Will Wright leaves Maxis. If you recall who I was talking about earlier, that is our Lord and Savior Will Wright, aka the creator of The Sims. He left Maxis in 2009. And that might give you some red flags as to why The Sims is the way it is now. I'll leave that open to your interpretation. In 2011, we got The Sims Medieval, which I love. I mean, let's be so for real. The Pit Beast has my whole heart. I'm literally about to cosplay the Pit Beast. I have pieces of the cosplay ready to go. And The Sims Medieval was also a quest-based Sims game, but you could still decorate your castle and things like that. It was also sort of niche, but popular enough. And then in 2014, of course, we have The Sims 4. So 2009 to 2014 is another, 5 years later. So there is a consistent amount of time between mainline game releases, 2000 to 2004, 2004 to 2009, 2009 to 2014, and now 2014 to 2026. You know how long that is? That's 12 years. It's 12 years. 12 years of a mainline Sims game is unheard of. Unheard of. The Sims 4 came out in 2014, and we're going to get into the controversy that even just the release of The Sims 4 had, but that's when it came out. So let's continue. In 2015, EA officially dissolved Maxis. Do you see a trend here? Will Wright leaves, Maxis gets dissolved. Maxis still exists, don't get me wrong, but it's not really the people who are making The Sims. It is now fully EA. So thus, we have the timeline of The Sims. The Sims franchise, 2000 to 2026. May she rest in peace. All right, let's move on. So, I want to get into the Fortnite-ification of The Sims 4. So Fortnite, if you don't play Fortnite, I don't, but I'm going to tell you about the history of it anyways. It dropped in 2011. However, we all know that it skyrocketed to stardom in around 2017 when the Battle Pass was introduced. And if you don't know what the Fortnite Battle Pass is, it is paying money to unlock game items through gameplay. So basically, you're buying like the option of having new items on the contingent on you playing the game and continuing to unlock those items. So you have to pay, to get those items through gameplay. That's the Fortnite Battle Pass, and that was introduced in 2017. That was pretty novel for the time, and it was part of the reason Fortnite exploded. Now, the login events first got introduced to The Sims 4 in May of 2024. The very first event was the Happy at Home login event. And this had us unlocking free items for the game simply by just opening it. We didn't have to do any gameplay. We didn't have to, really do much of anything. It was just opening the game, and then you could collect your items. And people were pretty excited about it. There were some mixed feelings about the login events, namely that they didn't have time to log in the time span that they had open for the login events in May. But overall, I think people were pretty excited about some free items. There was some controversy around the items being recycled from previous packs. So for one, we have the dartboard. The dartboard came with Get Together. And then we also had the vending machine, which had come in earlier packs such as Snowy Escape and High School Years. But, it gave the option for base game players to have these items. So, pros and cons. Next, we have our very first gameplay event. So this was a shift from the login events because we actually had to play the game. In October 2024, the first gameplay event that released was Reaper's Rewards. This differed from the login event by making Simmers actually do gameplay over the course of several weeks to unlock exclusive items. This one did come with some more controversy because not everyone has the time every week to open the game and actually sit down and play it for an hour or two. And they had a pretty limited time, so they ended up having to extend this gameplay event. Now, Reaper Rewards also, this is notable, Reaper Rewards had optional events that showed up if the player had Get Together, Realm of Magic, and paranormal stuff, such as visiting the bar during Ghost Night, consulting with a ghost, and going to Caster's Alley. But you could still complete the event and get all the items without those packs. So while people were kind of confused by this, why there was optional ways to get the event points, you didn't need to make any purchases in order to get all of the items. You could do it all with the base game. Okay. And then we have exclusive events, which started in December of 2025. Okay, so if you can recall, December 2025 was the first gameplay reward event where some of the items were locked behind owning packs. Deck the Palms event came out and required cats and dogs, businesses and hobbies, and adventure awaits. There was 3 items that were not available if you didn't own the packs. So out of the 20 items, I think it was, that you got during this gameplay event, 3 of them you could not get unless you have these packs. So the first was a pet hoodie for the cats and dogs. The second one was a business ticket machine for the businesses and hobbies pack. And the third one was a slide that attaches to the playground parts from Adventure Awaits. This is particularly egregious because the Adventure Awaits pack had just come out that September, or maybe it was late August. Thus, people had no opportunity to purchase that pack before this event happened. Especially, there was no opportunity for this pack to go on sale prior to the event like the other two packs. So at least cats and dogs and businesses and hobbies had been out long enough that they've been on sale probably multiple times so people could get them for 50% off. Adventure Weights was full price. So if you wanted to get an extra slide for Adventure Weights, you had to buy that pack now at full price. And when it comes to these login and game and exclusive events, once it's finished, you cannot get those items again. Literally, they're gone forever. So if you download a build off the gallery and they use some of these event reward items, you're not going to get it. If they have one of the Adventure Weights slides, but you didn't buy Adventure Weights till it went on sale, guess what? You're not going to get that slide. October 2nd. Oh, wait, October 2nd? That's even worse. Yes, right, you're right. Adventure Weights came out October, and the exclusive event was December. That's 2 months. That's crazy. It's very predatory. And you can see how this sets a precedent to continue to make exclusive items and force people to buy packs, or at least give them the social pressure of buying a pack before they feel ready. So corporate needs you to find the difference between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture. As you can see, one of these is Fortnite and one of these is The Sims 4. Can you tell the difference? I don't know. Chat, can you see the difference? What about this one? Huh? I don't know. I don't see any difference. This is a battle pass. Hi, Cheech. Welcome on in. Here's your waves to say hello. The buyout has not happened yet. You can still sign the petition. The buyout is set to happen in August of 2026. And you can learn more about it there. Yes, you have a question. Yes, Lena, you may raise your hand and ask a question. They're the same picture, Your Honor. So one of these is the Fortnite Battle Pass and one of these is the Sims 4 login events. It's the same picture. But yes, Lena, go ahead. And thank you for waving out our new friend, by the way. Welcome in, Cheech. Welcome in. But yes, the reason we're having this presentation is because we're criticizing the buyout and talking about how we can sign petitions to prevent it maybe from happening. Although, it's not looking promising. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the pod. You're now a treasured member, Cheech. Was there a change in leadership for Sims EA around 2023 or 2024? Do we know? A change in leadership? No. I think the main difference there was just the Sims buyout in 2025 and Will Wright leaving in 2009 probably doesn't have anything to do with it, but them dissolving Maxis in 2015 led to the slow decline, in my opinion. Cleo, welcome on in. Thank you for starting your daily button. I'm not sure about changes in leadership, but that is a really good question, Lena. That is a really good question. Okay, so Fortnitification. Let's continue. The timeline of demise. This is what I like to call spin the chaos wheel. Cleo, I'll spin the wheel. Mods can put that in my to-do list when we get into because we are going to play The Sims probably after this presentation. But that's for gameplay, so I can redeem that later. All right. The timeline of demise. There may be other factors that go into this. However, this is my opinion. First, we have 2014. So you signed the petition. Yay! Good job, Cheech. Good job. Thank you so much. All right, in 2014, the game launches incomplete, setting a precedent. I think, in my humble opinion, The Sims 4 was set to fail from the outset because in 2014, if you weren't there, which I wasn't, I came in 2019, but if you weren't there, The Sims 4 launched without basements, without pools, without toddlers, without ghosts, and a myriad of other things were missing from the base game. And they cost $60. The base game cost $60 USD at the time. You're like, no worries at all, Sandy, no worries at all, welcome in. So the game launched incomplete and everyone was criticizing it. People were boycotting it from the outset. They said, you know what? No, I'm going to continue to play The Sims 3. I'm not going to play The Sims 4. People were already mad in 2014. So you know what? We set ourselves up not for success here. Also, Holly, welcome in and thank you for starting your daily button. And then in 2017, we have the toddler ball pit fiasco. If you weren't there for that one, basically The Sims 4 released a stuff pack called Toddler Stuff, and The Sims 4, the toddler ball pit was heavily criticized for being low resolution, low poly, low quality. The animation made no sense. It was flat, it was sad, and people made fun of it. It became a big meme, but it was also disappointing. You signed it. Yes, Cleo, yes. That's awesome. So the toddler ball pit fiasco happened. That was a meme, but people were still like, girl, like, what are we doing here, EA? What are we doing? In 2018, this is the stuff in green to me is like the canon events. Like the biggest, oh, sorry, what does that say? Toddler ball pit is in the, no! There's a ball pit, like a ball pit. How do I explain it? Does anyone know how to explain a ball pit? The toddler ball pit. I don't know how to explain it other than that. It's like a big square object from the Sims toddler stuff pack. And it was like flat and it had like no rendering and everyone was mad about it. It wasn't an image. Oh, well, yeah, like the actual picture, like it was like flat. Yeah, so there's that, I suppose. Dashcon flashbacks, I know. Low res, big thing in the toddler stuff. Yeah, exactly, the low res thing. So the stuff in green is the canon events, aka the biggest issues, and then the smaller stuff is like smaller stuff that was along the way that also, oh, as in bad, yeah, okay, that makes more sense. I was like, girl, I don't think. Anyway, so in 2018, this is another huge canon event that led to the demise. My First Pet Stuff released in 2018, and this was the very first DLC for DLC. Now, this sparked outrage because half the items in My First Pet Stuff required you to already own cats and dogs. And it was released a few months after Cats and Dogs came out. Now, we can all agree that the My First Pet Stuff pack is not that bad. Like, the items themselves are fine. You know, I use some of them. But it's the principle of the thing that people were frustrated about. It's the fact that if you didn't own cats and dogs, you weren't just buying this kit or like this stuff pack to get hamsters and to get rodents and to get whatever the heck, because it also had stuff for cats and dogs. It literally had cat scratching posts, it had dog toys, it had like dog and cat themed items. So if you didn't have cats and dogs, it didn't really make sense to buy that first. And every other pack apart from that had been standalone. So there was a lot of frustration around My First Pet Stuff, and I think that also was setting a precedent for allowing, and the fact that people still bought it and used it and still continued to buy the game lets EA think that we are allowed to just, you know, walk all over the Sims community. So that was another, you know, canon event. Next, we have the 20th anniversary hot tub. They couldn't have included it all in the same pack because, no, literally, it was a few extra items. So in 2020, a lot of things were happening in the world, but one of them was the 20th anniversary of the Sims franchise. And they released a hot tub. The 20th anniversary of the entire Sims franchise. And the Sims, EA released for The Sims 4, a 20th anniversary hot tub. And people were losing their minds. And you know why people were losing their minds? Because they literally bought the backyard stuff pack. I think it was the backyards. No, it's not backyard stuff. It was patio, perfect patio. People bought perfect patio specifically for a hot tub. The hot tub being the only thing we got was criminal. It was a singular hot tub. It had plumb bobs all over it. Julia, welcome on in. Thank you for sewing your daily button. You love a hot tub for your 20th birthday. I mean, I get it, but also people had specifically bought a stuff pack, and now people were just getting a hot tub for free, and they're getting the hot tub woohoo for free. You don't remember these things? You just played and handed money over. You've been playing since The Sims 2. No, that's so fair. But this is like to put it all into context. So everyone was mad about that. And it was ugly. You've been troubleshooting your internet for 20 minutes, but you made it. Oh, I'm so sorry, but welcome in. Okay. And also in 2020, we had the release of the Journey to Batu. I can't without laughing. The Journey to Batu game pack. Now, don't get me wrong. I like Journey to Batu. I like Gaga. What does she know about cameras? If you know that reference, you know. But seriously, what does The Sims 4 know about Star Wars? What does The Sims 4 know about partnering with Disney? Hello? What does The Sims 4 know about any of this? I don't understand how... Anyways, so the main controversy around the Star Wars pack was the fact that people were like, who asked for this? And as much as I do love the items, like I can't even lie, I do love it. It's a fun pack. It's silly, whatever. I like the items for building. I've never played through the gameplay of that pack. Never. Literally never have played through Batu. I know some people love it, and that's totally fine, but I think the outrage was the fact that like literally nobody asked for this, and also it was like a major cash grab just to get Star Wars fans into The Sims 4 and like vice versa. And it was very bizarre. And the timing of it was also bizarre. So people were kind of like, what the heck? And it just felt like a cash grab. This makes you crave noodles. Wait, what? Why? Oh, the little squiggly bits? Oh, I don't even know. I don't know why, but you know what? Enjoy your noodles. Okay, in 2021, this is another canon event. The first kits are introduced. We're going to dive into that more deeply in the next couple slides. But I have a justification for why I think kits also contributed to the demise of the Sims franchise, okay? So 2021, the first kits are introduced. And just to bring you back to 2021, the very first kit ever was Bust the Dust. It was like our one and only gameplay-oriented kit. And everyone was like, who asked for this? So anyway, in 2023, you forget Bust the Dust exists. Yeah, I know. I never have the dust system turned on because it's just a pain. I don't mind having a vacuum item, but paying $5 for one vacuum, two vacuums, and a dust system that's just irritating. Yeah. I have a theory that if hot tubs were released later, they'd be a kit. Lena, I have a theory that all of them would have been kits if EA had thought about it sooner. I never got Busted Dust because I didn't see the point. No, that's so real. That's so real. Okay, so then, in 2023, we have My Wedding Stories. My Wedding Stories was a game pack that absolutely flopped. In theory, it's a pretty good game pack. In theory. However, it was released completely broken. It broke everybody's games. It destroyed, it literally did not work. The weddings still are broken. And people were like, why are we finding it acceptable to release broken DLC? Like, what is happening? I forgot to put on this presentation actually, but also For Rent is notable. Like when For Rent came out, it also broke people's games and it continues to break people's save files. Like it continues to be completely broken. So while For Rent is a fantastic build buy pack and everything, it breaks people's games and it's very frustrating that they haven't fixed it yet. And it was released broken. Dynet was barely playable. Dynet was also barely playable. That's like an ongoing theme is that they release broken DLC and people still buy it and thus they find that they can get away with it because people continue to buy broken stuff. And I'm also guilty of this. I literally bought broken packs because I just wanted them because I am a sucker. So it is what it is. Anyway, but My Wedding Stories is another... I think the reason I included this in the presentation is because everyone was so outraged and it just felt like a turning point. It felt like people were finally really fed up with the fact that they kept releasing broken items. And 2024 is when we got login events in the beginning of the Fortnitification. You're also a sucker. Yeah, no, same stuff. Okay, and then in 2025, we have the EA buyout. So that is another canon event, followed by SpongeBob Kids. And 2026, we have the release of Royalty and Legacy, which was released with 30 plus reskinned items, aka items that were literally from other DLC or the base game. And I have a TikTok about that. It goes through item by item and it compares it to previous items in the game. Take it as you will. All packs have some reskinned items, so don't come for me. I know that that's normal. I understand they can't make entirely new items every single pack. But for an expansion pack, and possibly the final expansion pack ever, the fact that all 30 of the items were just reskinned was criminal. And then in 2026, we have the Sims 4 Marketplace, which is the nail in the coffin, which we will get into. So that's our big timeline of demise. There's lots of other bits that we could talk about, but I want to just get into the kits, I think. So it started as a snowball and it led to an avalanche. I would say the actual turning point was the EA buyout. Okay, this is when it all went from slowly, gradually getting worse and worse and worse to everything is fallen straight down. I feel like an expansion pack should not be reskinned. If CC creators can make things that aren't in game, EA can too. Period. And we'll get into why in the whole CC thing, it's a whole other ball of wax. So let's do it. So kits. So I want to caveat this. I know a lot of people love kits. I'm going to present you the pros and cons of kits that I've come up with. Feel free to disagree with me if you'd like to. This is how I feel, okay? The pros of kits. They're more affordable, technically. They are only $5 USD, so if you don't have any packs for The Sims 4 and you're looking for your very first pack, most people are probably going to gravitate towards kits now because, hey, it's better than spending $40 to $60 on something that you don't know if you're actually going to like. And it's just a few extra items for your game. So it's more affordable. I get it. We're in a recession. And it allowed for more customized games. So, people could more pick and choose what kind of styles they wanted to include. They didn't have to commit to a full expansion pack worth of different styles. And they could just add a little bit here and there. It increased the diversity of content in the game. So more niche things like Goth Galore Kit, things like that. Now, the cons. It's more expensive per item than any other pack. So while it is more affordable at face value, if you think about the amount of items that come in a kit, there's typically about 20 to 25 items per kit, whether that's create a sim or build buy. And when you think about how many items come in expansion packs, as well as the gameplay that's attached to them and game packs and stuff packs, it's more expensive per item. So that is a bit frustrating. They're not able to be bundled. So you can never put kits in with a bundle. The other packs, you could buy an expansion pack, a game pack, and a stuff pack together as a bundle and pay a reduced price. You'd get 25% off or something. So that was sick, but you can't add kits to that. And you can't even bundle kits together. I think it was soft launching the Sims community for microtransactions. I think the kits coming out in 2021 was hey, are you willing to pay a few dollars for a few items? How do you feel about that? Do you feel that it's acceptable? And guess what? Everyone ate it up. So yes, we found it to be acceptable, and the Sims community, or the EA, was girl, we can get away with more. We can get away with less for more. They never go on sale. Kits have literally never gone on sale. The only time they've ever been less price is the Royalty and Legacy pack. If you buy it, apparently you get 2 kits for free. And there was another time where if you bought an expansion pack, you got 1 kit for free. Other than that, they do not go on sale. Every other pack goes on sale at some point, not kits. Kits are always full price. Weird. They replaced stuff packs and game packs. We're going to get into the timeline of the content change, but they did. They just did. They replaced stuff packs and game packs. And that is frustrating to me because I like more content in the game, not just more items. There's also an overwhelming amount of content because guess what? There are 43 kits total. 43! There are 43 kits since 2021. That is more than any other of the type of packs combined. Expansion packs, there are 21. Stuff packs, there are 20. There are 12 game packs, and there are 43 kits. Yeah, I know. Now, creator kits. There are more pros than cons. Kits should be $1.99. Yup. And they're $5 USD, so we'll get into the math later. The timeline of demise, we're going to move on to creator kits because there are more pros than cons to these, but they're still notable, okay? First pro. The first ever creator kit launched in October 2024, and I think they acknowledge CC creators as fundamental to the Sims community. Since the outset of The Sims, since literally The Sims 1, people have been modding the game, people have been creating custom content for the game. As early as The Sims 2, people were making custom hairs, custom clothes, and importing them into the game. And it was always a huge part of the community. And in fact, EA and, Maxis used to really celebrate that. The game was very customizable and always loved the creativity that came out of it. And I think it was cool that EA started to hire CC creators to make the creator kits. They compensated CC creators for what is now official content. So CC creators could never really charge for their content before because it would be kind of illegal. And now they were actually getting a bit of compensation for something that would be canon in the game. Your aunt had CC for Sims 1 where she had Lord of the Rings characters. That's awesome, Lena. That's so cute. I love that. And it gave the community content they've been asking for. So EA, we can never trust EA to give us content we actually want. The kits that EA came up with were bust the dust. No one wanted that. Whereas the creator kits were really good. They introduced things like light switches to the game. They introduced a bunch of other items that people have been begging for, such as the tile backsplash stuff. I know that came in Lovestruck, but let's be real. CC creators did it first, and EA stole their idea. And it allowed console gamers to have CC creator content. So console gamers can't have CC, but if they like the CC creator, they could get their official content in the game. So, that's a pro. However, the cons. The creators got paid one lump sum for compensation and receive no royalties for pack purchases. So if you buy kits, the creators don't make any money off of it. and they made every single item. EA did none of the work, and they get all of the money. So the creators, I have no idea how much creators got paid in their lump sum, but in my opinion, I don't think it'll ever make up for the fact that EA did none of the work and is getting all of the income from it. Like they're getting all the money. We give them $5 and EA gets that $5. The CC creator got one lump sum once when they made the items. Other than that, nothing. And this creates a precedent for mistreating and undervaluing the CC creators that leads to what we're going to talk about the marketplace. And it also has the same cons as the other kits. The overpricing, not being able to be bundled, etc., etc. There are 13 creator kits as of right now. So, now let's talk about it. This is the big boy, the EA buyout, okay? I'm going to educate all of you right now, right here, right now. September 29th, 2025, EA announces it is being purchased by the PIF, Silver Lake, and Affinity Partners for $55 billion USD. The PIF is the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia, Silver Lake is an American private equity firm, and Affinity Partners is also an American private equity firm, and it is led by Jared Kushner, aka the Cheeto's son-in-law. So boo. Let's get into each of these individually, okay? The Public Investment Fund controversy centers around allegations that the fund has facilitated and benefited from human rights abuses linked to Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. My source is Human Rights Watch. There are a lot of investigations in international law looking into Saudi Arabia, into the PIF, and into the corruption of their current monarchy regime, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to get into too much to do with that. However, some examples that we have seen are arbitrary detentions of people, abusive treatment of detainees, extortion of property from Saudi Arabia's elite, allegedly, and also abuse of women. There's a lot. Basically, every marginalized person in Saudi Arabia, but like really importantly, women are highly mistreated. And the PIF is like the fund for the monarchy to like help support this further. But anyway, allegedly, based on Human Rights Watch, don't sue me, don't throw me in jail. Anyways, moving on. Okay. Now we have Affinity Partners. Okay, Affinity Partners has been the center of controversy for reliance on international investment, conflict of interest by appointing Jared Kushner as head, and being unclear about their fees. Jared Kushner, the reason, like people suppose that the reason he's now the head is because the Cheeto is president. So Jared Kushner is the son-in-law of the Cheeto, who has obviously done deplorable, heinous human rights violations during his reign. Allegedly, but Affinity Partners buying out EA is still not great because having a publicly funded thing go to a privately funded thing, especially in the hands of both foreign investors and like the US, these people, it's not good. It's not good. You can make your own judgment on this. It's not good. Okay, moving on. Now we have SpongeBob Gate. So this is after the EA buyout in 2025 of September. Now we have SpongeBob Gate. I mean, need I say more? In December, I think it was December. Yeah, in December of 2025, The Sims was like, hey guys, you know how you've been begging to have SpongeBob in The Sims 4? Well, now you have it. Crickets. Crickets from the audience. Hello, let me poll everybody. Chat, did anyone want this? Did anyone, what would have happened if you just called Taylor up? Did any of you call EA up and say, hey, I'd really love SpongeBob in my game? The crowd goes silent. I didn't ask for this personally. I don't know who asked for this. I think people were outraged at this because it's just so absurd. It's not that the like sponsored content or partnered content hasn't happened before, but if you think about okay, let's do a deep history. The Sims Katy Perry Sweet Treats, it did okay. The Sims IKEA, that did pretty good. People liked IKEA. The Sims 4 Moschino stuff pack, Not so good. People, not so good. A luxury brand partnering with The Sims 4, weird vibes. People didn't really like it. People had a lot of outrage about that too. And now SpongeBob. So I think this kit really, again, solidified the frustration people were having for how, it's cheapening the game. It's like, hey, how can we capitalism max? How can we, literally do capitalism to the nth degree? How can we bleed everyone dry of everything and just, I don't know. It was just literally capitalism in a kit. I don't understand who asked for this. The collab itself was bizarre. It's fine. I'm sure the items are okay. I don't own this pack. I'm sure it's cute and everything, but having branded content in the game, A, takes you out of the immersion of the game, so that always makes me annoyed. But B, it just feels gross, especially with the timeline that it came out. It came out right after they announced the buyout, and everyone was like, girl, what are we doing? What are we doing? This is a cash grab yet again for no reason. So that's SpongeBob. Now, how the Sims 4 content has changed over time. This one I want to talk to you about a little bit. We alluded to it earlier when we were talking about the kits. But first of all, the reason I'm annoyed about kits is because they did, in fact, replace stuff in game packs, because the last stuff pack was Crystal Creations in 2024. Yeah, the H&M packs in IKEA were blended into The Sims 2 and fit so well. Exactly. People weren't mad about those because it made sense. Moschino and SpongeBob, where's the correlation? The last stuff pack was Crystal Creations in 2024, so that is 2 years ago. The last game pack was Werewolves in 2022. 4 years ago was the last game pack introduced. 4 years ago. And you know why that's frustrating? Because since then, dozens of kits have come out, but also an alarming amount of expansion packs have come out. Multiple per year, 2 to 3 per year since the last game pack came out. And I would argue that at least half of those could have been game packs. Enchanted by Nature, Adventure Awaits, even Royalty and Legacy confuses me. How are those expansion packs? Maybe Royalty and Legacy could have been an expansion if 30 of the items hadn't been just reskinned. But what are we doing? Also, Sal, welcome on in. Thank you for sewing your daily button. 2022, people. And now the last question mark expansion pack is Royalty and Legacy 2026. It came most recently. If you made a graph of releases of packs since kits, you'd see everything but expansion kits drop. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm getting at here. 2021, first kit. 2022, last game pack. Last stuff pack 2024. And kits have skyrocketed. Skyrocketed. Okay, let's talk about it. There's 43 kits. There are 20 stuff packs, 12 game packs, and 21 expansion packs. Let's talk about the cost. 43 kits at $5 USD each is 215 American dollars. But hi, Sawa. I hope you're doing well. Good morning. Stuff packs. There are 20 stuff packs at $10 USD each, approximately $200. Game packs, there are 12 at $20 USD each, $240 American. And expansion packs, there are 21 at $40 USD each, $840. Total, $1,495 USD for the entire Sims game. Plus $60 extra if you bought the Sims 4 before it was free in 2014. $2,029 Canadian and 1,116 Great British pounds. It hurts. This game has been going for 12 years, and if you bought it at the beginning, that's $60 extra American. Now it's free to play, but if you bought it in 2014, you are at more than $1,500 USD. Criminal. And creators for creators kits make a flat fee, not a percentage per sales, despite EA not doing any of the work. The only exceptions to those kit things would be Simsy and Plumbella. They did not do the actual creating of the items. They gave insight and helped mood board it, but EA actually made the items. But the rest of the creator kits were made by CC creators completely. And we're giving EA $215 for that, and none of that $215 goes to those creators. As someone who went from console to PC, this hurts. Oh, Ellie, I know. What do you even think of that? Yup. For people who have to do, if you have a console and you want to switch to PC or vice versa, you have to buy all the packs again because EA The greed never ends. The greed never ends. Okay, now let's talk about the big news. For anyone who has missed it, March 3rd, 2026 was the day I realized The Sims 4 was dead. Completely and utterly dead. The nail in the coffin, The Sims 4 Marketplace. What even is this? What even is this, you might be asking? Let's break it down, okay? First of all, this is straight from their website. This is straight from the News and Updates article. Let's talk about it and discuss it. The Sims Maker Program is a new initiative that allows creators who specialize in custom content to publish officially to The Sims 4 in-game marketplace. This introduces new ways for them to earn while bringing fresh content to all players around the globe across every platform. The Sims 4 Marketplace is a brand new in-game destination where players can discover, purchase, and play with official maker packs, as well as expansion packs, game packs, stuff packs, and kits created by the Sims team. Oh, that's funny you should say that, Sims team. Kits are also created by CC creators. Just saying. It wasn't actually made by you. 13 of them, by the way. Moolah. Let's just take a moment. Moolah? Really? Anyway, Moolah is the Sims 4 virtual currency that can be used to make purchases of both maker packs and the Sims 4 kits in the marketplace. Purchases of maker packs support the makers. Yeah, destination. Yeah, like it's something to be proud of. Okay. So basically, there's a new marketplace where you can buy custom content for certain amounts of money. But this is not the first time a company has paywalled player-made content or introduced microtransactions. Let's get into some history. How game developers destroy player-made content, aka custom content, and introduce microtransactions. Okay, in 2007, let's bring it all the way back. For those of you who don't know, Roblox is basically an entire game built on player-made content. And in 2007, Roblox introduced Robux, which was buying in-game currency with real-life money to buy the player-made content. What they don't tell you is the creators only get 30% of each transaction of their work. Oh, we're going to get into it, Sandy. We're going to get into it. Robux. 2008, The Sims 3 store introduces Sim Points. We're also going to deep dive into this. 2011, the Steam Workshop with Valve. 2017, Epic Games Fortnite Battle Pass introduces V-Bucks. 2017, Bethesda Creations, formerly the Creation Club and its 2015 predecessor via the Steam Workshop, making people pay for the mods in CC. Minecraft, Bedrock Edition Marketplace, and Minecoins in 2017. 2026, EA Sims 4 Moolah. This has been going on for a long time, but the fact that The Sims has now introduced this has made me lose my marbles. Let's throw it back to the Sims 3 store and the controversy surrounding that. If you weren't there, oh boy, are you about to learn. Purchase Sim Points and access exclusive content for the Sims 3 game on the official store. Find new venues, objects, clothing, pets, stories, and more for your Sims. Oh, I know, literally Phoenix. Literally Phoenix. This is ripped from the Sims 3 website. Bethesda's defense, they also allow CC that's not paid on all consoles. Yeah, that's true. But there was controversy at the time. They now do, but at the time it was weird and people were upset about it. Almost universally hated, the Sims 3 store allowed Simmers to buy smaller amounts of content, for example, one clothing set instead of expansion packs. Sound familiar? It does. This is what it looked like. So you could get a little garden kit, a little like thing of food, a little, whatever you wanted, right? And this is what it looked like to buy the content. So for 16,000 Sim Points was $160 US. I mean, this was when it was on sale, obviously, but 2,000 Sim Points was $20. How much could you get for that? God only knows. $10 was 1,000 Sim Points. You get the gist. But you'd get like clothing, you'd get items, whatever. It was not made by custom content creators. These were EA official items, but this was microtransactions and people were pissed about it. People bought it, yes, and they used the Sims 3 store, but the principle was off and people didn't enjoy the fact that it was microtransactions. It's a lot of money for back then too. It is a lot of money. So now I want to show you and direct you to a couple of quotations I have taken from under the Sims official post recently, their Twitter post regarding Marketplace. Welcome back, The Sims 3 store, says Rin. Yes. If it isn't just the Sims 3 store, are you going to shove it down our throats like you did in The Sims 3? Says Dunatan. Sophie says, I remember when The Sims 3 had this and you could buy with a phone number, only I got my mom's phone and bought a ton of coins to buy stuff like a playground climbing wall for my Sims. I got my beat later, but it was worth it. So, as you can see, The Sims 3 store had some mixed reactions, and people are relating the marketplace to The Sims 3 store, so I'm not off base here. And this is what The Sims 4 marketplace is going to look like. So, as you can see, 200 moolah is $2.49 USD. 500 is $4.99, 1,000 is $9.99, 2,600 is $24.99, 5,500 is $49.99. Girl, who has this kind of money? So this is what it looks like. Are you ready for something? Does this look familiar to anybody? Oh, yes it does. Corporate needs you to find the difference between these two pictures. They're the same picture. Guess which one is Fortnite and which one is The Sims 4? Oh, we're throwing it back. We're throwing it back to the Fortnite-ification of The Sims 4. It's all connected, people. The Fortnite-ification of The Sims 4. It's real. It's a conspiracy. I've got my tinfoil hat on, my tinfoil plumb bob. Fortnite, Sims 4, they're the same picture, everybody. They're the same freaking picture. And it's the same price, low-key. Like, what is this? Actually, no, it's more expensive. It's more expensive. 5,000 V-Bucks is only $36. 5,000 moolah is $50. Crazy. Okay, here we go. So why is the marketplace controversial? And Sandy brought up a good point. Let's get into the pros first, because I feel like I should play devil's advocate, kind of. So we'll talk about the only pros I could even think of that I scraped my brain for. In a small way, this supports CC creators, and I guess console players as well, because now they get more custom content, I guess. Okay, now let's get into the cons. 1, extortionate price for moolah. 2, risk of generative AI content. Let's expand on that for a second. So the EA has promised that the creators who are going to be on the Sims 4 marketplace are going to be vetted by a human being and be like, they have to be official creators, da 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 da. So basically EA gets to choose who's allowed to produce content, which is already controversial and kind of sus. But there's still the risk that people will just use generative AI to make custom content and then make money off of it. Disney did this in Dreamlight Valley with Moonstones. I refused to buy stupid Moonstones. I already bought the game. No, for real. Subjective and arbitrary pricing. So the actual makers themselves get to set the prices. So they can give you 3 items for the same price as someone else giving you 50 items. It says they range from 3 to 50 items per maker kit, and then they get to say the pricing of it. They get to choose the pricing. So there's no regulation. The creators only make 30%. Which is why they're probably going to hike up the price of only, like, they're going to give you 1 lipstick for $3 because guess what? They're only making 30% of that. I hate that this has happened in video games. Exactly. Creators make 30%. This is so predatory. EA is making 70% and literally has done nothing of the work. Literally nothing. Nothing of the work to make these items that are going to be canon in their game. And they're making 70%. You'll create for the love of it. Yeah, the only good thing about DDVs, Moonstones, is that they give you a way to get them in-game without paying. Yeah, whereas you can't do that in The Sims 4. You can't even grind for it. Kits are now relegated here. What? You can no longer purchase kits off the EA app. You must buy them from Marketplace with moolah. Huh? What? Hello? Have we entered the crazy station? The crazy train has left the station. What's going on? We've lost the plot. I'm sorry. Official content like kits is now restricted to moolah? You're joking. You're joking. That means that if you buy moolah, first of all, you have to buy moolah and you're going to use some of it to pay for a kit and then you're going to have leftover. Guess where that money goes? To EA anyways. That money is just sitting there like a bank. You can't even use it because it's probably not going to be enough to purchase a single item or something. So you're going to be forced to have little leftovers and purchase more moolah than you actually want to buy. Is it truly with moolah? It seems like the wording could be interpreted either way. Their kits are relegated to the marketplace now. I'm fairly certain it means you must use moolah to buy them. I could be incorrect. but it was under their frequently asked questions. Future kits or all kits? All kits are moving there as soon as the marketplace goes live. So you like, as soon as the marketplace goes live, and all future kits. If you already own the kits, obviously like you already own them. But like, yeah. CC has always been core to The Sims since at least The Sims 2 and has always been free. Free. And you can support CC creators by tipping them, but it's custom content. It's not meant to profit EA. If anything, yes, we want to support CC creators. Yeah, after March. Yes, yeah, thank you, Sandy. Downloading Sims and builds from the gallery is now going to be nearly impossible, if not impossible. Because guess what? Every single person is going to have different items from the marketplace now. And there's going to be no way. Like, you can filter on the gallery by moolah items or marketplace items or whatever, and like to get rid of those builds. But that seems incredibly unfair. Because what if I want to download a build, but like they use a couple of items from the marketplace? That's so frustrating. Do you know how customized these games are going to be now? Everyone's going to have like just slightly different things. It'll be nearly impossible to download things off the gallery unless you buy literally everything off the marketplace. Which, who's going to do that? There's going to be varying degrees of quality. There's going to be varying degrees of like desire for those things in your game. Imagine shell tours. Oh, we're going to get into that. Moolah and items cannot be gifted or shared, unlike traditional packs. Right now, you can purchase a pack for a friend and give them the code. Going forward, kits and everything on the marketplace, you cannot gift to another person. You can't give them a gift card to the marketplace. You can't buy the moolah and give it to them, transfer a moolah to them. So Christmas, birthdays, I don't know, literally every celebration you can think of, you can't just gift moolah, like, no, like, okay, so there's that. That's also irritating. It's villainizing the CC creators who don't want to join the Maker program. I just know EA is going to absolutely crack down on CC creators who have Patreon. They're punishing poor people. They are punishing poor people. And they're also punishing CC creators who don't want to ascribe to this baloney. Well, yeah. Moolah is not refundable. So if you buy 5,000 moolah just to buy a kit or two and you have some leftover, you can't just take that money back and get those extra dollars back. That's just going to sit there for eternity. You have to use it on something. And it's probably going to like not going to be enough to purchase a certain thing. So you're going to have to buy more of it and buy more and buy more and buy more. I feel like the freaking Lorax here. How bad can I be? I'm just doing what comes naturally. I'm literally like, EA is the freaking Onceler. EA is the Onceler, guys. Shell tours will now be near impossible due to highly customized games. Shell tours are going to look vastly different because from before, when we have Sims creators on Twitch or wherever doing shell challenges, it was like use whatever packs you want, or they might be like, oh, I don't have this expansion, but like that's fine. It's going to be so hard to figure this out. How are marketplace items going to even be in the catalog in the game? Are we going to have a tab that has all the kits and then all of the marketplace items under little like icons? How are you even going to sort by marketplace items in your Sims like build mode? How are you going to find it in build mode? This is insane. It sucks for poor folks too. When I was an emergency social assistance, I had to report every cent. Yes, literally. CC creators that take part in marketplace cannot put their stuff to the marketplace anywhere else for free. Yes, that too. They're also restricted. I'd rather just have or pay for my ability to easily customize my game than buy stuff that's... Yes, EA's stealing 70% of it. I know, it's crazy. Okay, Sims creators will have a near impossible task of reviewing new Maker content. There's already an insane amount of content in this game. Now that there's Maker stuff, how are we supposed to look at all of it? How are we expected to adequately look at all of this content and give people a good idea about whether or not they should spend their money on it? That's insane. That's insane. I know Lucy said like they're going to get like an allowance every month for moolah. It's dumb. Who can keep up with that? Who has the time? Who has the time? You'll be able to buy moolah gift cards from Amazon and okay, all right. Still though, this is wild in and of itself. Yeah, I know. Okay, so what does the community think about this? Here are just a few of the tweets that we've gotten. And guess what? These tweets are under the hidden replies to the post on Twitter. So $2.49 for a pair of lips. Are they serious? Am I losing it or are they losing it? Makers are only make 30% of every purchase. That's horrendous cut. Interesting idea, but not fair to creators. Just more money giving to EA. The concept of making people pay $10 for less items than we get in a kit. You people have lost your minds. Disappointed but not surprised. Oh boy, where have I seen this before? This is the Killer Sandwich. And they're referencing Bethesda's Creation Club. Are you being for real? Biblical levels of greed. Yippee, we give you more money and we get the same thing we could on Patreon. It has a bootlicking emote. And I guarantee creators don't get paid as much as they would have there, but yay, more money for EA. This is disgusting. Not even the land grabs are this greedy. Did you guys really never learn from the Sims 3 market or exchange? When will you guys learn? And finally, I'm worried this could shift the core spirit of CC, which has always been mostly free and community-based. While I respect creators who charge for their time and effort, turning it into an official marketplace may affect the community that has kept the game alive for so long. And that is the tea. That is the thing that we need to talk about. This is going to ruin custom content. I don't even use custom content, by the way. I've never download, I don't download custom items or clothes or whatever. I just don't really do that. And I'm still mad about it because I know how much CC means to people. Of course, they are suppress the criticisms that everyone thinks is a good idea. Yes, they're literally blocking these replies. All these were in the hidden replies. Okay. The future. Spoiler alert, it's not The Sims, it's EA. So The Sims in January posted this on their website. They said, our values are unchanged. The Sims team's creative control has not changed. At the heart of The Sims is creativity, play, choice, inclusivity, and community. Okay, well, I would argue that perhaps this isn't actually the case since the EA buyout, but whatever, go off, I guess. Creativity. How is this making me a more creative person? Genuinely. I don't think this is going to make me more creative. In fact, what this is going to do is push people to using generative AI to make more money. At the heart of The Sims is play. Okay, yeah, whatever, sure. Choice. Oh, that's rich. Choice. At the heart of The Sims is choice. Actually, in fact, I don't feel I do have a choice. I feel that we are being pushed and pushed and pushed to spend and spend and spend more and more and more on this game that is still broken in a lot of ways, and we don't have a choice. CC creators don't certainly have a choice. They feel that they're going to be pressured into this maker program now. I don't feel that I have a choice in terms of the way that I want to play my game anymore. In fact, I feel like it's almost illegal to play The Sims now because of the backlash on everything, and that frustrates me because I love this freaking game, and we're going to get into that too. Inclusivity. I think that's a fat lie. As much as I love this game, and I do think it's an inclusive game, we have no control over this game. This is digital content that we don't actually own. We are like renting it. We purchased it, yes, but it can be changed at any time because they retcon packs. They go back and they change packs all the time. They changed Snowy Escape. They took out an animation. They took out a piece of clothing because someone said it was offensive, which is good. I'm glad they did that. But that proves that they can go back and delete content from your game that you've downloaded, that you've purchased, which means that when Saudi Arabia and Jared Kushner and a bunch of other investors own EA and own The Sims, they can make whatever changes they want. They can roll back, especially in countries other than America and Canada and things like that. They're probably going to make it so that you can't have pronouns in the game anymore, custom pronouns. They could roll back all sorts of things that make this game inclusive the way it is, the way we love. And I would love to say that's not a risk, but I think it is. I think it is a risk. Unless the Sims team leaves EA, which I would love, it's possible. And that's frustrating. You cannot argue that you continue to support inclusivity, then sell your company to powers that are openly, historically opposed to inclusivity. Exactly. Now, I'm going to snooze the ads again. Literally. Okay, so here we go. Community. Oh, our values of community. I'm sorry. Where did you consult the Sims community on the creation of this Sims 4 marketplace? Who got polled for this? What survey did you send out that indicated that we wanted microtransactions in this game? Because historically, we've always hated microtransactions since The Sims 3. We've always been against this. There are very few people that I've seen with positive reactions to the Sims 4 marketplace. I don't think you've prioritized the community at all, EA. I think you don't care about the Sims community. You care about our wallets. And that's frustrating to me because the Sims community, I love the Sims community. I love the players of this game. I love Sims creators. I love being a Sims creator. And this game has brought me so much joy over the years. And I feel like the community is being torn apart at the seams because of the way EA has acted. And I am so fed up with feeling like it's illegal to play this game because of this buyout. I'm so fed up with the fact that the community has been taken advantage of, that we're now fighting one another rather than fighting EA. It's making me lose my mind. Yeah, literally, Kermit, yeah. And like this idea that the community is at the core of The Sims 4, tell that to literally the demise of The Sims 4. My entire graphic, where all of those instances where we've been harmed by EA, the freaking 20th anniversary hot tub, like literally everything, all these ways that we've spit in the face of the community, the ways that we've absolutely like milked the community and like taken all their money and all their everything, their heart and souls. Where's the packs and content they asked us we wanted in that community server from 2 years ago? Period, Ellie. Period. The last time I remember was Nifty Knitting. And it's even more clear how EA does not care about CC creators since Simandy posted their experience before they left. Yup. And they we're done making things and here's something no one wants. Yeah, exactly. They're like, you know what? We're done doing the work. We're going to continue to make the money off it, but you guys can do the work, actually. You guys can do the work and make 30% of the sales. How is that having the community in mind, EA? And I don't blame the Sims team because some of this is out of their control, but it's really upsetting. 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I am back. Who followed? Oh, Canada Girl 2003. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the pod. You're now a treasured member. Especially with the sale looming, that's big ick behavior. It is. And thank you for your first time chat here. So waves to say hello. I've watched a couple videos of a YouTuber by the name of Pixelate. Oh, I love Pixelate. He's got a lot of good points about a lot of stuff. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so next slide. We're nearly finished. The future of The Sims. Here we go. The Sims 4 is no longer the only life simulator. Ben and Jerry should take over The Sims. I agree. The Sims 4 is no longer the only life simulator. Let's be so for real. We've got Pair Lives coming out soon, and everyone's very excited about that. There are other simulators too, but we have issues with them, so we'll talk about that too. The Sims Project Renee, it's gonna flop. It's gonna flop. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's online. I don't care if it's The Sims 5. No one is gonna care about it. The way they've treated The Sims 4, the way they've beaten a dead horse, the way they've actually literally like destroyed, eviscerated my girl, The Sims 4, Project Renee is gonna flop. It just is. It's been 12 years and we have no Sims 5, no new mainline franchise game, and then Project Renee isn't even going to be a mainline franchise game. Welcome in. Simmers and creators who love the game will continue to play on their terms. And I think that's fine. I think that's okay. I think that's good. The Sims is some people's livelihoods. And I don't want to see anybody like being mean to, wait, is this slide 27? No, not quite. But The Sims is some people's livelihoods. And I think it's important that we address that. If people continue to play the game, if people continue to give money to EA because they have to, just understand that there are bigger forces at play here and that us as individuals can't do too much about it. Other than sign the petition. The graphics are going backwards. I like Inzoi, but it needs work for sure. Yeah, and Inzoi has its own issues, which we'll get into. Can you snooze those anymore or no? The ads. You own your game, not EA. You can still download CC for free and play the base game for free as of right now. You don't have to give any money to them if you want. No more snoozes. Okay, shoot. Project Renee gives me big MySims flag since Renee is a sim from the MySims series and it sucks that MySims is being dragged into the buyout drama too. Yeah, T. The Sims as a franchise is 26 years old. It is trying to keep up with modern gaming, often going against community wishes. Oh. We're on nearly my last slide. Okay, the future of snappy streams. I'm boycotting EA. Specifically, I'm never purchasing another pack, kit, moolah, or maker item off the marketplace. I don't even have the money to in the first place, but I will be asking none of you to gift me anything towards EA. As much as I appreciate all your help and support and love, please do not buy me anything else. I don't want any of the kits. I don't want to support EA. I don't want your money going to EA. I'd rather your money be spent on a Tim's donut and a coffee, to be honest with you. I'm boycotting Project Renee and future Sims projects because I just don't care. I don't care. I love The Sims 4 and I love the earlier Sims games. I'm not gonna play the new games. And we need the Shryland, exactly. I'm gonna encourage others to support CC creators on Patreon and other websites. Please continue to do so. Lots of creators are not gonna join the Maker program. Support them. If you like CC, please continue to download it. Make the marketplace flop. I'm asking this of you. You don't have to, you can do whatever you want, but I want to make the marketplace flop, honestly. I'd like to see the EA suffer from this. I'm going to expand my content. I'm still playing the Sims franchise games when I want. I'm incorporating new, cozy, and chaotic games. I'm just going to continue because I've only got like one slide left and then we'll go into ads. I'm incorporating new and cozy and chaotic games such as Animal Crossing and others. Shell challenges in community gaming might look different. So while I do have a shell challenge on the go right now, I'm going to ask that we just be chill about it and we not use any marketplace items. In the future, I might restrict it and say you can only use cats and dogs, or you can only use base game, or you can only use like one kit or like something like that to try to make it more challenging and B, suitable so you guys don't have to spend more money. The money they're using on Project Renee could have been used to fix the Sims 4 base game gallery. Exactly. If they'd done this tastefully, I might have considered purchasing from the stupid marketplace, but once again, they've just proven they're in it for our money. Exactly. I'm going to continue to push people to sign petitions to stop the EA buyout. Yes, there is still time. ! Petition in chat to find the link. Please, if you haven't already, sign this petition. The EA acquisition could be blocked if we try hard enough. If we try hard enough. And if you want to know more about... Oops, girl. Hold on. I mean to do that. If you put ! News as well, that will give you information about the press release on this whole thing that started in September. Okay, so there is still time. Sign. You do not need to be American to sign. Yes, exactly. You can be anywhere because this affects everybody. I appreciate you taking the time to discuss all of this as well. Thank you, Sao. I appreciate it. I've also found this very fun. I'm going to continue to fundraise for the causes that make the PIF, Silver Lake, and Affinity Partners shake in their boots. Because guess what? Trans rights are human rights. Black Lives Matter. We care about women. It's International Women's Day. We care about people in marginalized bodies with marginalized voices. And EA can't take that from us. The Sims has always been about inclusivity. I'm going to always fundraise for causes that PIF and Silver Lake and Affinity Partners would literally lose their minds over. Because guess what? It's more important. And for that matter, Free Palestine and other, like everything else you could imagine, Free Congo. I'm not going to send my money to Saudi Arabia so they can abuse more women. Is that a crazy thing to say? Maybe. Maybe it is. Maybe that's beyond the scope of this. But I don't care because it is that deep. I'm not American. I'm Canadian. And America and these private equity groups owning The Sims 4... that bothers me as an international simmer. That bothers me. I don't want any of my money going to the Cheeto or his family. I don't want any of my money going towards people and like companies that are going to support that kind of thing. And thank you for sitting through the ads. I do appreciate it. They help support the channel. I'm sorry that you missed a little bit. Hopefully you can read all this and you haven't missed much. I'm just getting heated. Okay. Now, final thoughts. This is the final slide, so lock in. This sucks, but it doesn't all suck. No one is happy about this, but the Sims community decides what the culture of a game is, not the developer, and certainly not foreign investor and the Cheeto's son. We decide. Essering, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the pod. You're now a treasured member. We get to decide what we like about this game, okay? Please do not be mean to EA creators, the Sims team directly, or others like myself for continuing to play the game and to enjoy it. There are a lot of people who've left the EA Creator Network. I 100% wholeheartedly support that. Love that for them. Simsy, James Turner, Plumbella, all those big name Sims creators leaving. I think that made a great statement. I really do. And I'm glad that they're pushing base game content, that they're continuing to use old packs and make and refresh this game and still feel invigorated by it and still feel happy and diversify their content. That's fantastic. And there are a lot of Sims creators who cannot leave the EA Creator Network because this is their livelihood. And when you think about it, them staying in the EA Creator Network means EA gets less money, and actually that money goes to supporting them instead. So please don't be mean to them if they're continuing to engage with this game in a way that makes them money. This could be their entire livelihood. And there are lots of creators who are disabled, who are chronically ill, who rely on things like streaming and content creation as a more accessible form of supporting themselves, where they don't have to rely on things like long-term disability, which pays nothing, by the way. So no matter where you are in the world, that could be an issue. Also, thank you for your first time chat, Sering. Thank you so much. Welcome in. Here's some waves to say hello. So yeah, two things can be true. We can be mad at EA and still love The Sims. My heart breaks because this is my favorite game. I love this game dearly. And it's upsetting to me that people are wanting to like ruin it and change the core messaging of it. I think it is more beneficial to me as a form of protest to continue to play the game on my terms and to be even more gay and even more of a woman and be even more, you know, everything that the Cheeto hates by playing this game. You still have The Sims, my eyes are just more open now. Yeah, exactly. Do what aligns with your morals, okay? I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm yapping for fun. You're allowed to your own thoughts and opinions. If you disagree with me completely, that's okay. I understand. I just wanted to present you with this information because I think it's important to do so if you're not aware. And now there's the argument of no ethical consumption under capitalism. I think a lot of people have heard this and it's become quite a buzzworthy phrase, and I want to offer you a couple of insights about this. Snappy is not your mom, you don't have to listen. Exactly. Opinionated, informed woman, the Cheeto man hates that. Exactly. Canadian woman. Making money off Americans. Anyway, all gaming companies are shady. They all want to take your money. Many gaming companies are owned by deplorable people, okay? Including all the ones that aren't EA. And I think that is getting lost in the sauce as well. People forget that, you know, Bethesda is questionable, Nintendo is questionable. Like, there are so many gaming companies that have done awful things or are owned by awful people or are invested in by places like Saudi Arabia or Israel or like America, like all the big bads, basically. And we still choose to play those games. And I think it's really frustrating to me that the internet has decided to jump on the EA buyout as like the most egregious thing that's ever happened. And I get it, it is awful, but no one has looked into who invests in other games. Yeah, investors have ruined gaming. They used to be all nerds doing it for fun. Exactly. Foreign investors and like, you know, international investment from all sorts of different sources, private equity groups and individual people, that's ruining gaming. But people only care when it's something like The Sims because they're like, oh, we need to cancel everyone who's playing The Sims. You didn't cancel everyone for playing other games that have also been owned by awful people because we have the capacity as people to think critically about this. It's nearly impossible to consume any leisure goods or services without filling the pockets of someone evil. It just is, okay? You think about Hollywood, you think about watching a movie and going to see a movie, literally, and just supporting Hollywood. Well, you know what's going on right now. I don't even want to mention it, but The Files, and I don't want to hear it in chat. I don't want to even talk about it any more than that, but just alluding to it and understanding that when we go and purchase tickets to a movie, we're supporting Hollywood and the industry that supports that whole thing. And gaming is kind of no different. Like, every leisure good and service, everything that we find joy in this world can possibly be connected to something awful. And there's no way to avoid that. Do you want us to all be depressed? Do you want us to all be, like, literally never have joy ever again? No, I think existence is resistance. And I think our joy, queer joy, trans joy, I think the joy of marginalized people is the sunshine. It is the thing that cuts through the dark and depressing. And you finding joy is actually the best way to show your resistance against oppression. The PIF has stakes in Unity too, which almost all games these days run on. Exactly. Their silence is loud. Yes. However, we can still be critically conscious of how our money gets spent and educate others on things like critical human rights issues, environmental concerns, and ethical concerns. I'm looking at you, Inzoy. Now, exclamation mark Inzoy for a bit of information there. So, Inzoy has been another thing that people are like, oh, ignore that, like, leave The Sims, just play Inzoy. Well, I want to tell you that Inzoy is also really questionable. And in fact, I boycott Inzoy because of the concerns around deepfakes for children and minors, if you catch my drift. Because they use generative AI, which is bad for the environment, to create hyper-realistic Zoys, aka the people in the game. They also launched without being able to be gay. Like, well, okay, you could kind of be gay, but like there was no gay characters in the game, and it was a whole thing. So I have a couple of issues with Inzoy that concern me, and that's enough for me to not play the game. But The Sims game at its core is a good game. Who owns it? We need to be critical of, and we need to understand, where that money is going and everything. But I'm still going to play the game because I love the game and I think it represents what I stand for, which is inclusivity. And I want to continue to use the game to promote inclusivity. Yeah, also you can't even play it. I couldn't even play it on my PC. My PC would explode. So there's that too. Okay, so these are my references. They're not in APA 7 format or anything, but I got my information from the EA website itself, the news and updates page, Human Rights Watch, the US Senate website, the Sims 4 Twitter post, the Sims Games Wikipedia page, the Sims 3 store website, the game developer. There's a website called gamedeveloper, like .com, and then the Sims Wiki as well. So, does anyone in the class have any questions? I've been talking for an hour and a half about this, and this is the end of my presentation. Thank you all for listening. Does anyone have any questions? I might take a little break, and then we can actually get into playing today, because I would still like to play The Sims today. It is only 10:30, and I want to play with you all and have a bit of fun. A+ presentation argument. Thank you. You adored this. Thank you so much for the presentation. Thank you, Odette. Why is the world like this? I don't know. I wish I knew. I did not have any questions. You did an absolutely amazing job. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Professor Snappy, for your TED Talk today. Thanks. I'm going to say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube, thank you for listening. I hope that you enjoyed this presentation on the downfall of The Sims 4 and the downfall of The Sims in general. Thank you for coming with me on this journey and for mourning the loss. All right, bye. I'm going to stop the recording now.